Okay, we're live. Thank you all for joining me tonight. We got a late one here with the Cinephile World Order, and tonight we're going to be watching Godzilla Minus One.
Everyone's dead. During the air raids, there was fire covering this whole block.
Return to us alive. Isn't that what you wanted? Every night, I hear them calling to me in my dreams. Come and join us already, they say. My war isn't over yet.
Because this next battle isn't about a fight to the death. This battle is a fight to live for our future.
Disgraced us all! Take a look around. Do you see what happened to us because of cowards like you?
Please forgive me. Godzilla has to be stopped. I'll do whatever it takes.
Godzilla. -1.
All right, good evening, everyone who's down there in the chat. I'll take a look at that in a minute, but yeah, this is something I decided to put together here since I had the time for it. And yeah, tonight we're going to be watching the 2023 movie Godzilla Minus One. And yeah, I got to say, when you put this up against the Warner Brothers, whatever trilogy, those Americanized Godzilla movies, man. This was really refreshing to see this one. Really was, and yeah, I really did enjoy this one, and I feel like this is a really good example of how you do PG-13 movies right. Really, yeah, I really did enjoy this one, and yeah, I went back and watched this one recently. I did not get to finish the final half hour of it, so I just figured, hey, we'll just go ahead and get it done. But all right, we got 9 people in the chat right now, as it looks right now, and yeah, I pinned the Look movie link there. I didn't check it to see if it was, in English or Japanese. It's probably in Japanese. I don't know, but yeah, I don't really do many foreign movies here on the channel, which I do need to get around to doing that a bit more often. But yeah, I just felt like this was right time to do a movie like this. And yeah, I know the schedule's been all over the place, really, but yeah, Batman movie's been pushed back till at least the 15th of this month, and some other things. Is actually, I would say from here on out, you're probably going to see me doing watch parties a little bit more than what you've been seeing on the channel. But let's get to the comments. And oh, well, just real quick, this movie is about, I think, like 2 hours and 5 minutes. So I believe we'll probably be around like 2.5 hours, something like that here tonight. But yeah, I'm looking forward to diving into this one. So let's get to the comments and say hello. All right, we got the Bud Files is here. What's up, Sue? Yeah, good to see you here. I saw recently your channel hit 2,900. And yeah, man, it's been very frustrating because I can watch content, but on the device I have, it does not allow me to comment on live stream. So I have to just sit there and not join in the comment section until I get a proper cell phone put in place. All right. Got Greg Brewer is here. I got your name right this time. Apologize about that last week, but yeah, good to see you here, Greg. And we got Anthony Chobits here too. What's up, Anthony? Hello, everyone. By the way, I'm seeing Ballerina tomorrow. Okay, that's good, man. That's good to. Yeah, it's right. We're in June now, so yeah, it's the time for the John Wick spinoff. So that's hopefully that turns out to be pretty good. You know, it's from the looks of everything. You know, seeing the trailer and behind the scenes footage with that, it looks like it has potential. And we got Guy is here from Caveman Movies and More. Guy, the reason why you don't have a wrench right now, because that's another thing. Man, it's been very frustrating to be limited to doing things on the internet, but I'm gonna get that fixed. I saw your comment on the previous or the previous community post. I'm gonna get that taken care of though. That's another thing. Like I haven't made a post since like Memorial Day weekend, so I finally figured out how to get the stream shared out here finally. But yeah, I'm gonna work on that. But thank you very much there, Guy. Nice shirt, trying to get that. You know, I got this at Spirit Halloween, the Terrifier shirt. I know everything's all backwards on, it's usually not. Everything's usually the way you should see things. I don't know why my camera's turned around the other way. But Spirit Halloween, that's where I got this at. You should be able to acquire it from there or really anywhere online at this point. And we have Jason H is here. I think that might be a new one. I don't know. I apologize if I'm not remembering your name, but yeah, welcome to the channel and thanks for joining in here. And we got Alex is here from Movie Odyssey TV. Alex, I have to email you because my current cell phone number is just it's maxed out. Just it's not active anymore. So I'll have to email you and well, really, that's probably the best way to communicate with me right now is through emails, or if you have Instagram. But my Instagram's all messed up too right now. Maybe it's because of my device being limited to doing things. I'm not exactly sure, but all I can do on Instagram right now is message people. That's it. But yeah, Alex, if you do want to join me for the Batman movies, I'm going to get those started on June 15th, which will be the day of the 20th anniversary for Batman Begins, and then we'll work our way into the other two movies and see what's best or what's the best time to get those done for me. Okay, we got people saying hello to each other. I really did my best to try to get this one started a bit more earlier, but like I didn't work on trying to get the trailer and all that BS put together till like 8 o'clock. So I was like doing that up until now. So that's why this one's a bit late here. But like going forward though, I mean, you might see some other streams and other movies from me, like, you know, around like maybe 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, or even 6 o'clock Eastern time. So things are going to be pretty scattered. I do want to try to get back in the countdowns again. So you might see those. And if, you know, if you see me doing those by myself, I'm going to try to keep those streams at like under an hour, really. So you know, it's really about enjoying the time and interacting with people, but I do try to manage the time in my head. I try to, you know, be aware of time being wasted and what's appropriate. So I just, you know, I also really keep that in mind for anyone who's trying to rewatch a stream. And we got Corey's here from Wilkie's Movies and Music. What's up, Corey? Good to see you here. Hope all is well with you. Hope all is well with everybody in the chat, though. Is this on Netflix? See, I don't have Netflix anymore. A caveman guy over at Caveman saying that it's also on Netflix too, right? I haven't had Netflix in probably like, man, at this point, probably like well over 10 years. I don't pay for streaming services anymore. And really, a lot of that has to do with the fact that I would rather just put that money into owning the movie and collecting it. I'm more of a collector at heart. compared to paying for streaming. Like, I don't knock anyone who wants to pay for streaming and all that. I personally refuse to do that stuff anymore. But whatever works for everyone, man. It's all the same at the end of the day. Whatever's, your personal preference and what works for you, just go that way with it, And yes, yeah, that's right, Greg. Yeah, you did say this is going to be a first time watch for you. I think you're going to enjoy this one. I was pleasantly surprised with this one. I really was. Nice to meet everyone. Yeah, just make sure you guys are, if you, I don't think you, it's hard to say if you guys can just click on each other's names and go directly to each channel and subscribe, but you guys should be well equipped with that and know how to figure that out. If you can't do it that way, just go to the search bar. And even the search bar is not even guaranteed to pull up a channel, right? But I think sometimes to search a channel, right, sometimes you actually have to put the word channel after a name. You got so many channels that do have very, very similar names, if not exactly the same. So it's it can really become a mess when it comes to searching for things on YouTube. People are saying hi to each other, so we'll probably get this one started here and about almost 12 minutes into this, maybe in like the next 10-15 minutes, somewhere around there. So I always like to acknowledge the chat as much as possible here in the beginning, and then once we get the movie going, just try to juggle everything as best as possible. But yeah, Alex, yeah, I texted you a few days ago. I figured there was something wrong with your cell phone. Yeah, that's why I was like thinking like, I bet he's probably been trying to get in touch with me, and yeah, nobody can get in touch with me with my old cell phone number. I got to get a whole new line at this point, and yeah, that just really turned into a mess. But okay, I'll check my emails. I didn't get any notification right now, but sometimes I don't get notifications for emails. I just have to, at this point, be on top of checking my emails at least daily, like every day at this point. But I'll definitely take a look at that afterwards. And yeah, if you want to get into those Batman movies, I'll that'll probably be the best way for me to send the StreamYard link to you. Will probably be right through the email. But I should have a line by the end of this month and everything. But I'll have to get your cell phone. That's another thing, man. I lost all my contacts too, man. I'm not even gonna get into that whole story. That might need a separate stream just to go through that story, really. But yeah, thanks for letting me know that, Alex. And it's K-Man saying it's showing you correctly on the stream, but I know the screen it shows you on. Yeah, that's what I was like, before I was going live, I was like, do I have the camera? Like, I went to my camera settings and looked at everything. I was like, it's weird. I'm used to seeing everything properly on my end, and if I take a look at the replay, everything looks perfectly fine. But yeah, thanks for letting me know that, guy. I'm sitting there thinking like, we're gonna just have to watch me in reverse, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, it is. All right, so it is still on Netflix. That's good to see. I mean, like for the most part with Look Movie, I know not everybody can access Look Movie. At least that's like the feedback I'll get from some people. But I just try to provide what's free. I try to, it's always good if things are playing on like Hulu or whatever streaming services. That's always good. It's always good to have access as long as you're, I guess paid up on that and have an account with that stuff. But for me personally, I'm a collector at heart, so I can't dump money into streaming anymore. So but Look Movie usually has there's really only been one time where I couldn't find a movie on Look Movie, and that was it's actually back around Christmas time. I was trying to do that movie, Deadly Games, Dial Code Santa Claus, Christmas horror movie. And yeah, it just wasn't showing up on there. And then go figure, in January, it popped up on there. It was like, damn, man, I had to cancel that one because there was no way for other people to access it. So that's another thing. I do try to base a lot of these watch parties on what's in my collection. If it's not my collection, I can still do it. But like, as long as it's just available for, obviously for me to watch it and other people. So that's what I really try to base things on. And Anthony's up to 2012 in his memoirs. All right, you are moving though. You are moving. You're getting there. Before you know it, you will be at the year 2025. That's right, Kate, man. Yeah, you got my number too, man. That's yeah, the reason why I didn't get back to you, that number is it's disconnected right now. So I'll have to I think you're on Instagram. So I'll just message you through there, and well, once I get my new line set up, I'll get that sent out to you and everything. But thanks, thank you for letting me know that, guy. I appreciate that. But yeah, overall, I guess just a story in a nutshell with this one, real quick. I really do like the time period in this movie. You got Japan versus the Americans. It's really the end of the war at that point, and you got a kamikaze pilot who ends up landing on certain part of Japan where it's like nothing but mechanics. I'm sorry, I'm a little all over the place with that, but yeah, he's like a kamikaze pilot who just, I guess, wasn't used in the war, or probably bailed out on his kamikaze mission or whatever. And yeah, Godzilla just shows up and just destroys the whole fucking island, kills everybody but this one guy. He survives, and it ends up becoming so traumatizing for him. And comes to find out later on that both of his parents were killed, and all this stuff, and yeah, he just kind of seeks out some kind of plan to get revenge on him, and he ends up taking a job that he thinks it ends up being a good paying job. But once he sees the size of the boat, the job is to really recover mines from the previous war and everything. And the job ends up being like, damn, I can see why nobody's taking this job. But other than that, I don't want to really spoil too much. Just try to sum that up in a nutshell here. But I was really surprised by this one overall, and yeah, it's a good time, really is. But all right, so we're coming up on almost 18 minutes. So all right, yeah, I know this is a late one, but yeah, this is really the best time for me to get this going here tonight. But yeah, I mean, my channel virtually has like no videos on it, really. I know I uploaded like those guinea pig movies. Those were really, I feel like I found those by luck online. I was like, you know what, I gotta put those somewhere so I can watch them later on. And I did watch the first two guinea pig movies. They are very graphic, Japanese. I think they're yeah, Japanese horror movies, very graphic movies, especially the first two. But like, I really uploaded those for me so I can access those a lot easier. So that's why I uploaded those on there. But at some point, I would like to really go through my collection, try to do some collection videos, probably by studio, stuff like that, really, and try to get some videos up on the channel again and get all that going. But I mean, as a collector though, I have slowed down with buying stuff. I mean, I really went from buying like almost like, between new releases and classic stuff, like almost like 10 stuff, like 10, yeah, like 8, 9, or 10 releases a week. Now I barely buy one thing a week. And that has to do with rising prices. At the same time, I do have a lot of the stuff that I really want already in my collection. I don't really double dip anymore. Sometimes I see a steel book with certain artwork where I'm like, that's a standout movie. I got to double dip on that. So yeah, I just don't dish out a lot of money anymore as far as collecting movies. But yeah, I'm always going to be a collector to the day I die. That's for sure. I just felt like it was wise for me to step back on all that stuff. I am actually starting a new job soon, going from auto body to actually taking training with healthcare, so I can actually take care of my mother and get paid for it. but at the same time also doing other jobs in that field. So trying to really, work all that stuff out. So been out of work, really full-time work for quite a while, but yeah, things are on the up and rise right now for me. So just got to take it day by day with that and make the best of it. And we got Ryan's here too. What's up, Rye? Good to see you here. Hope all is well with you. And all right, so we're at 20 minutes. Yeah, let's go ahead and get this going. So yeah, the Look Movie link is pinned at the top. Anyone that wants to join in, I know this is kind of late, except for the people on the West Coast, but yeah, let's go ahead and get this underway. I'm ready to go here, but actually, I just got to go get a drink. All right, yeah, I'll just play the quick 1-minute trailer. We have another comment there. Yeah, we got a couple more. Anthony saying I'm trying to get in the job training program, but there have been some setbacks. I hear you with that, man. I feel like you almost have to be ready for setbacks, especially when it comes to applying for jobs. I'm the type of person, like, even when it comes to like new movies, I don't get my hopes high with a lot of things. Because I feel like, you get your hopes high, you're setting yourself up for letdown. I just try to make the best of things and just stay on a narrow positive path. That's it. I just really try to make the best of things, and it's really, really wise to just keep your mind in a most positive mindset as much as you can. So I understand that, the as far as applying for new jobs and hoping things work out, and you just got to apply for those jobs and just keep pounding at it, man. You can't give up no matter how bad things look. You just got to keep going at it. But yeah, Greg's saying that's cool. Congrats on the new job, Sean. Yeah, thank you, Greg. Thank you. I appreciate that. Like, overall, I am going to be getting paid from the city, and it's going to be between like 28 and 30 hours, but I'll take that over virtually what I have right now, and that's a lot of nothing. And I dipped into all of my savings just to keep myself above water. But yeah, I'm just glad all that's kind of falling into place right now, and yeah, just going to take that day by day. But thank you very much, Greg. All right, keep saying hello to each other, and all right, yeah, let's get this going. So yeah, Look Movie, like I said, Look Movie link is pinned at the top. This movie's about 2 hours and 5 minutes. So yeah, so go ahead and get yourself situated and ready, and we'll get this going here in a minute.
また悪い夢。ご両親。
空襲でやられたようです。
兄さんも私と同じね。
親子ともども縁あってこうして引き取ったんだから。
だから私はどんなことがあっても死んではいけない。
銀座を襲ったあいつ。大島のゴジラですよね。
あんなもん倒せんかありません。
東京がまた火の海になるのは見たくない。
戦争が終わってないんです。今度の戦いは未来を生きるための戦いなんです。
All right. All right. Anyone that's joining in, if you guys are ready for a 10-1, we'll get that going here in a second. So I'm actually going on a bootleg. I bought this at a flea market. Actually, I think that was like maybe it was either summer 2023 or maybe the following year, 2024. But yeah, this is actually a bootleg. It's all in English, actually has optional subtitles. So like I could watch it in English and have Japanese subtitles, but I don't understand Japanese that well. I only know from experience, really. I know there's certain sayings that, over time you hear the same thing over and over. It starts to click with you. But yeah, Japanese, that's a very, very tough language right there, at least for me. At least someone that's, I don't know, very Americanized. But yeah, I'm watching everything in English. And yeah, anyone that's joining in, I think, Ray, you're probably going to join in. And maybe Look Movie will have everything linked up with subtitles and stuff. So, but I know last time I did a foreign language movie, I know I did Takashi Miike's Audition. I know I did that back in like February. So yeah, I do need to try to get outside of doing the regular, Americanized English movies. But yeah, there's definitely plenty of foreign movies I like to do. It's just sometimes it's like, well, but would this movie, even though it's a foreign language, would this work good for a watch party? That's some things I really try to consider too. I don't just do a watch party just because. Like I just try to, be mindful of like, what would be good for a small crowd of people to join in. And definitely don't do musicals and documentaries like some other fucking boring ass people on here. Fucking musicals and documentaries. What the fuck? But all right, getting this set up on my end. All right, let's do a 10-1 now. All right. All right, if you're all ready, let's get this going. Let's watch Godzilla fuck some shit up. All right, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press play, bitches. So apparently this was like the 70th anniversary for the production that originally created these movies. See, that's another thing. Like I got to admit right off the bat here, I'm not the biggest Godzilla fan. I'm just not really. Some of the movies I can tolerate. I do understand how people really do enjoy those movies. But the first Godzilla movie I ever seen is when I was a kid, the one that came out in '85. I can't remember the exact title on it. It might have just been called Godzilla, and that's it. But that is the first one I ever saw, the one that was released in '85. And, being a little kid, yeah, I was blown away by it in some ways. But as I got a bit older, I was just like, man, these movies are a bit too silly for me, especially for my liking. But as I got older, I do understand how a lot of people, especially ones that, people that have grown up with these movies, I understand why people really do like these movies. But yeah, overall, it's, I feel like, the Americanized ones from Hollywood, from Warner Brothers, when those movies first came out, like the first one that came out in like 2012, and Godzilla, Kings and Monsters, I think it might have been called. And what was the third one? It was like Godzilla versus Kong. Maybe I'm like, I don't know. I think there's like 3 or 4 of those movies. I feel like when they came out, like seeing those in a theater setting, they were enjoyable. But I mean, personally, like actually owning those movies, going back and watching them, I don't think those movies are going to age very well. That's just my personal opinion. So I understand that there's fans out there of everything with that. There's people that do enjoy those movies, but I just feel like personally going back and watching those movies, just they have their moments, but as a whole, just don't really deliver. Like I know that the second one, Godzilla, Kings and Monsters or whatever, that kind of presented more creatures and stuff in that. Like even like Mothra was in that one. I felt like that was all pretty cool in that one. It's yeah, those Warner Brothers movies, like I feel like they do have their moments. They're just, I don't know. For me personally, they just don't deliver enough, really. But yeah, those movies kind of just came and went for me personally. Get back to the comments here. All right, we got Mike's DVD and Blu-ray collection, and Shamarlos is here, and we got Derek over at Woo Riders. All right, where did I leave off? Yeah, I agree with you there, Greg. Yeah, he definitely looks pretty good. Yeah, Godzilla in this. I think when you actually compare the Americanized ones, I think in the Americanized ones, he's actually way bigger. At least that's like the vibe I got from trying to compare the size scale on both. But, he's obviously, Godzilla's big enough in this one. I feel like with Godzilla, it's not even all about size really all the time. It's more about like what you can do with that size, whether you're smaller or bigger. But now that as this movie opens up with this kamikaze pilot who had to land on this beach for this, I don't know what this is called, this island that they land on, but the sirens are going off. They're getting the lights on everything, and this is where you get the first glimpse of Godzilla here. And yeah, he's tearing shit up now. He just took out the light guy, the light tower guy. He's gone. And finally, this is when the first guy says, "It's called Godzilla." But all right, so yeah, we got D over at Woo Riders. What's up, Derek? Hope all is well with you. Oh yeah, that's right. The 1999 movie. I gotta say, I am not a fan either. That Matthew Broderick movie. I tried giving that multiple watches too, and it's. I think I would say from being a part of YouTube and talking to people, there's obvious fans. Just from being involved in the movie community, whatever you want to call it. But there's people that really do enjoy that movie. Man, that one just does. It looks like a giant iguana. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that one. I've tried that one a few times. Doesn't do a whole lot, man. Actually, I guess at this point I kind of forgot about that movie. But again, I am not the biggest Godzilla fan. This might be the only time you'll see me doing a stream for a Godzilla movie, and that's how much I enjoyed this one. For 2023 with newer movies, okay, I'm not the biggest fan of a lot of newer movies, but sometimes something hits for me, and this was one of them. And on a scale of 1 to 10, I give this one a solid 8, a solid 8 out of 10. So yes, we got Shamarlos is here. What's up, Scott? The wrong button there. But I don't want to like spoil too much. All I know is there's just like one part in this movie, which is not too far away, where I was like, "Oh, good luck killing this motherfucker, man! Like, you guys gonna kill him after that shit? Like, yo, you guys are fucked." But yeah, this is just a relentless ride. I feel like this movie, especially for PG-13, it gets pretty violent too. Not graphic or bloody like that, but yeah, this movie will get pretty violent, and yeah, it's just at times I feel like it can really make you forget that you're watching a PG-13 movie. But PG-13 nowadays in this day and age really is a whole lot different compared to what PG-13 was, even in like throughout the whole 80s, really, even into the 90s, whole different ball game. Godzilla's just gripping dudes up by his mouth, throwing them around, smacking his tail down on people right now. Man. But like one of the mechanics, like one of the actual airplane mechanics he's telling the one pilot, like, "Yo, get in the plane and fire at him." And he's right. But you know what? Why don't you be in that situation? See how much balls you got that jump in that plane and start firing at him. And then right here in this part too, Godzilla just picks up the plane and tosses it like it's nothing. So if he was in there firing, chances are he probably would have died. Yeah, it's at the end of the scene now. The kamikaze pilot survived that fucking battle and just passes out and wakes up. Wakes up the next day. All right, Scott had a cheeseburger. Yeah, I actually bought some bacon burgers from the Amish market. I'm mostly located in the Philadelphia, PA area, so yeah, we got some Amish around this area. If you want to take a trip, really, it takes me about 20 or 25 minutes to get to a proper Amish market. But man, they make some really good bacon burgers. Got like little bits of bacon inside, burger patties. But man, they are so good. I had one of those a few days ago. Yeah, good to see you doing good there, Scott. That's right. Yeah, like the one head mechanic, he survives this whole aftermath. Got a busted leg, and now he's getting on this pilot shit. He's like, everybody's dead. They're all dead because of you. Oh, because you didn't want to jump in that plane and shoot. That's not an easy situation to be in, man. You got this oversized creature just tearing up everything. Like, yeah, let me just jump in the plane here that's not moving, it's parked, and let me just start firing at this thing and pissing it off. That's another thing. I don't want to really get too far ahead of myself. When you realize how Godzilla is in this movie with, like, radiation and regenerating, it's like, yeah, I think once you see him in that moment, realize like, yo, if I would have jumped in that plane and fired at this thing, it wouldn't have mattered, man. But yeah, now we're moving forward now off of that island. And now it's all Japanese soldiers now on this big boat. And that one mechanic that survived with him, he's giving him all the pictures of the deceased people. He's leaving it on him to send all this stuff out to everyone who died, their families that are left over. Which that's probably the most righteous thing to do in that moment. But I think he has every right to hand that off to him. But to put the blame on him totally, you got this giant prehistoric creature just coming at you. That's not easy stuff to deal with. And yeah, we got Mike's DVD and Blu-ray collection. What's up there, Mike? But yeah, I know I've been very limited to supporting people. I'm still watching stuff. I just cannot comment on things. So once I get a new cell phone, trust me, I'm going to be back full force, guys. I will be back. And honestly, like I really do enjoy watching content over making it. I feel like that's what keeps me more involved and just even more interested. But it's obviously I've had some bumps in the waves here along with doing stuff on my own. But I just find it's easier for me to do a stream, to be in a moment, and compared to like making videos, I can be very self-criticizing of myself, and it can really take me a long time to make a video sometimes. Like I'm just like, like I record something, I'm like, nah, I could do that better. Let's do it again. All right, nah, I can do that better. Let's do it again. And next, you know what? I'm burning all this time and I'm not getting a video done. So I gotta find a way to get all that self-criticizing bullshit out of my head. Because like, compared to a live stream, once you hit live, that's it. What you see is what you get. So that is like really one of the main reasons why you see more live streams on this channel over, virtually like no videos. And I mean, what shorts that you see on my channel, like to me, it takes under 10 minutes to make a short. It just, yeah, it's that simple. Go on your whatever video editing app that you have. You find the stuff that you need. You just know how to place it. You know how to make those things over time. And it's not very time consuming. to me, making a video can be a little time consuming, but I need to find a way to just be like, you know what, just do it in one shot, just upload it. That's what I need to do. I need to get myself out of my own head with that. So, but yeah, at some point, yeah, you're gonna start seeing videos from me. I just can't say when right now, but thank you, Ryan. But like overall, you should be able to find this at your local Spirit Halloween. Once the end of July, August comes around, and those stores start opening up in your areas. Thank you, Scott. But now this is when man, what's this guy's? Our main character. I should know his name, and I don't. Godzilla. Kind of messed up how this girl fishes him in here there with a with an abandoned baby. Oh god. So yeah, this is directed by Takashi Yamazaki. Hopefully I'm saying that right. But all right, our main character, man, I'm not even gonna try that name. Whew. Kamamike, that's his last name. Kamamike, I know that's right. I'm not even trying that first name. Yeah, movie takes place at the end of 1945, which is the end of World War II. Koichi? I think his name is Koichi. I think it's Koichi. I think that's his name. But I'll have to listen up for that, even though everything on my end here is in English. Art the Clown is smart. Not just smart, but very fun. I mean, like, I don't know, just to dive into the, I guess, Terrifier movie, since I'm wearing the shirt that's being talked about. First time I saw, I still haven't seen All Hallows Eve. I think that's Art the Clown's introduction into movies, cinema. I still need to see that one. But the original Terrifier movie, when I first saw it, I was like, man, this movie's graphic as hell. Like, I can see why horror fans like this. And I felt like I was kind of like ignoring the fact that, like, I think a lot of people, like, when they see like a killer clown and the slasher form, I feel like that's what really draws people in that. But I don't know. There's not a whole lot to go on with the Terrifier movies, even though Terrifier 2, I like that movie. I feel like the movie's way too freaking long, especially for a slasher. But I feel like Terrifier 3 definitely amped it up a bit. I feel like Terrifier 3 was a way better movie. It's got the Christmas theme going on for it. I'm a sucker for any, pretty much any Christmas horror movies, but I just feel like a lot of people are really attracted to Terrifier, mostly just based on the fact that you got this crazy killer clown, no dialogue, and he just keeps it interesting with his kills and just does what he does best and just keeps it bloody as hell. I do get some Japanese subs at the bottom here. But yeah, so getting back to mainland Japan here, and like everyone's been wiped out, man. Everyone's been wiped out, and apparently the Japanese government is trying to blame all this on America doing bombings and all this stuff, which is another good thing, I think, how they utilize the war, like World War II at the end of 1945. They utilize that information very well in this movie. So they're lying to the public and saying that, oh, America keeps raiding and bombing us. That's why you guys are all dying and everything. But they refuse to acknowledge that there's this giant prehistoric beast, Godzilla, going around and just fucking shit up. So Koichi, yeah, his family's been knocked out. A lot of these people's families been knocked out, and some random girl I guess, who found a baby on her own, just sucks him into this and leaves the baby on the side. Him having humanity left in himself picks up this baby, and then she pops up out of nowhere, and it's like, bang, you two or you three are now involved with each other. Anthony say, I'm trying to get more VHS, but money is tight. I hear you, man. That's why I cut back on collecting, man. I felt like I had to financially, really. Even not like having money coming in, that's what really, told me I had to set things aside and be more wise and be more mindful of what I buy. And I'm just at the point as a collector where I just buy what's necessary. Like, I used to be one of those people that would double dip on things and then even buy movies I've never seen before, doing a lot of blind buys. And then I'm like, this stuff's taking up too much room on my shelf, dishing out the money. It's like, nah, I got to put my foot down here. I got to start buying what's necessary. And rising prices, buying 4Ks, like almost on average, like the average 4K goes between like $30 and $50. And if you're buying limited edition steel books and slipcovers and all that fun stuff, man, it can take some weight on you, man. Ever play the arcade game Rampage, Sean? Yeah, yeah, I definitely remember playing Rampage. Yeah, that's for sure. Been a long time since I've played that one, Greg, but yeah, definitely. And we got Gizmos here. Gee, video man. I can't stay. I hope you're good, Sean. Love Godzilla -1, the third best Godzilla film on top of, I'm sorry, it's on my top 20 of best monster movies. Wow. Only American monster movie on the list is King Kong, and that is #1. Okay, all right, yeah, man, it's like I know you can't. You said you can't stay long, but like I said, as we went along with this stream, I'm not the biggest Godzilla fan, and there's some of the old ones I can tolerate, and I really tried my best with the Warner Brothers Americanized movies, and those movies have their moments. I just don't think they're going to age very well. But this was just, man, like, another thing is, like, I was aware of this when it came out, watched the trailer. As I usually do, I let a lot of newer movies just kind of go on the back burner, and I get around to them eventually. But people were just talking so positive about this. And then I found a bootleg copy at a flea market on Blu-ray, and I was like, yeah, this is only $5. It's time to see this movie. And yeah, when I finally sat down and watched this on my own, man, I was just pleasantly surprised and just totally satisfied. And like I said, this is just a great example of, how you do modern PG-13, man, really. But yeah, good to see you here, Jay, and thanks for stopping by. And all right, we got George is here, the Sailor Outlaw. What's up, George? Good to see you here. Hope all is well with you. Hello, everyone. But like that's like another thing. Like I really care about pretty much most of the characters in this. Besides, like, like the one inexperienced young boy on the boat. He's obviously played to be the not so smart one. But like, everyone, I really am like invested in these characters. They're well written characters. Few of them have, I'd say, more than a few of them actually have story arcs and everything. Like, they all play their parts very well, and yeah, I wish we got more movies like this nowadays instead of rehashed standalone sequels and reviving franchises. Studios are afraid to dish out money anymore for an original movie with an original story, and it's just, ugh, fuck. And Jim's Movie Channel's here. What's up, Jim? What if the world was made up of jelly donuts? I would be like, man, that's fucking sweet. Jelly donuts. Hello. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, Jim. Still on for the 28th if you want to do that stream. Yeah, on your channel. So we'll communicate through Instagram. I guess that'll probably be the best way to do that. I can communicate on Instagram. I can't do nothing else on there. I can message. I got my messaging back on there. Other than that, I can't make posts. I guess I don't know. But as long as I can message people, honestly, I'm okay with that. I don't like Instagram that much, so if I'm banned from making posts forever, okay, so be it. Maybe that's what the situation is, but who knows? Maybe I just need to make a whole new Instagram to dance around that. But yeah, thanks for stopping by here, Jim. But yeah, I am still on for the 28th to do the stream on your channel. So now we're at the point where where Koichi, or I think I'm saying his name right, Koichi, he's taking this job that thinks it's going to be, real sweet gig here. It's good money apparently. And once he sees that this boat is all made out of wood, it's just not very up to par. And he understands that this job is collecting war mines out in the water from, the previous war. And he realizes, like, fuck, man. Like, this sounded more sweeter on paper than actually, looks can be deceiving. But it turns out on this boat, he's actually going to be the gunner, and that's good because he has experience from being a pilot. And as they hook up these mines out in the water, he's going to be the one gunning for these, shooting at these mines. And yeah, he's going to be the one that actually ignites these things and blows them up. So even though you do have, I guess you could say, one guy who's experienced riding that boat and driving it and doing what needs to be done on that boat, you got another guy who's really experienced what seems to be with biology and scientific things. And then you got this one inexperienced kid on there who's just looking to make a name for himself. And then you got Koichi, the kamikaze pilot. King Kong from 1933, of course, but maybe King Kong from 77 also hit the list. Must make my top 20 one day. Yeah, I'd say that'd be interesting. Yeah, that's one thing I gotta say. Even though I'm not the biggest Godzilla fan, I'm still always interested to hear people talk about stuff because I feel like I learn a lot from hearing people talk about Godzilla movies. This is the dream sequence he's having. I gotta admit, when I first saw this, I was like, damn, Godzilla's he's at his home now. And the dream sequence got me on this when I first saw this. But yeah, I do have the 77 movie on Blu-ray. Scream Factory, I think, released that somewhere around here. But do I have the 1933? I'm going to say I probably don't have that one, but yes, definitely seen it before. And all right, Cody's here. From Where'd You Get That? Hey, all, just stopping in real quick. I enjoyed this movie. It's good to see you. And yeah, thanks for stopping by, Cody. It's good to see you here. And sorry I've been out of the loop with, just trying to stay up on content and commenting on stuff, but I am going to emerge again, fully activated and involved in things once I get a proper device here. But good to see you stopping by. People are saying hello to each other. Jelly Donut scene in Full Metal Jacket. That's a good one to mention there, Greg. George is saying, in true Godzilla fashion, the King of Monsters knows how to have a fun time with messing with things. They ain't that right. So now we move ahead here, 1946. All right, on the black screen now. All right, yeah, all right. All right, looks like life is starting to get back to normal here in Japan. The job's working out for Koichi. Yeah, we have like one of these breakdown scenes now. Godzilla 1999 movie had a cool soundtrack. I remember there was music videos, maybe Busta Rhymes, maybe Puff Daddy. Like, what was that? Or maybe I'm thinking of something else. But yeah, like summer 1999, you did not hear the end of Godzilla. That's for sure. Like, that was a heavily advertised movie in that time. But as we touched upon a little bit earlier in the stream, I'm not a big fan of that one. I know Greg Brewer's not a big fan of that one from reading comments. But, there is some people, I guess, fans of it all that do enjoy that one. Some people, yeah, did enjoy that one. Some people didn't. Me, personally, not really. But, I'd have to check out the actual soundtrack list on that one, see what's really, what that has to offer from front to back. But I've never listened to the whole soundtrack. So Anthony had red chicken and potatoes and salad and Pepsi beverage for dinner. That sounds good though. I'll say minus the Pepsi, but yeah, that does sound good. I'm not a big Coke person. I'd rather drink Dr. Pepper if I'm going to drink anything related to Coke. I like Dr. Pepper the most, but yeah, not a big Pepsi or Coke person. But I guess if I had to pick one or the other, like Pepsi or Coke, I'm probably going to go with Coke. Soundtrack for the 98 Godzilla was good. Yeah, 98, 99, one of those years that came out. And all right, we have Erica's here from EA Horror. What's up, Erica? Good to hear from you. Hope all is well with you, and thanks for stopping by. So this is where Koichi has his employees come over for dinner. And he explains his living situation to the employees, how the baby is not his, and the girl that looks apparent to be having a family with is not even, remotely close with him. They're just three unrelated people, or two adults taking care of an unrelated baby, all because of wartime antics that took over. Or at least that's what the Japanese government made it look to be, like the Americans ruined everything. But no, it's Godzilla that did all that. So now we move ahead another year in 1947 now. And yeah, so Koishi's wife has decided to go ahead and get a full-time job. And this is where he's like, what are you doing? I thought I provided enough for you and the baby. But no, this is where she wants to actually gain her own independence by getting a job. And so, yeah, I guess, 2 years of no Godzilla, no warfare going on has allowed people to kind of get their lives together and live better. But we all know that's not going to last very long. So we have 4 people currently in the chat. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with you guys. Japan is one of the many places I would like to travel to. I would too, but I feel like the older I get, the more scared I am to just leave the country. I don't like the idea of revoking my freedom to go to another country, and God knows what happens. It just there's plenty of places I would love to go outside of America. I mean, even in America too, but the idea of just leaving the country anymore, post-COVID and everything is like, ugh. I'm going to stay parked where I'm at, I think. Maybe go to the shore sometimes. But yeah, there's just, I'd like to go to Japan. I'd like to experience the culture for at least maybe a good week or two, something like that. But just, when you put the reality into place, really for me, it's like, oh God, you know what? I'm just going to stay where I'm at. But you know what? I think a very underrated saying, at least I heard my dad say this a lot, even from being a kid all the way up to now, my dad will constantly say, there's only one country you should fear in the world, and that's the country you live in. It's like, ooh. That's something that's always, sat on my mind when he says that. There's only one country you should fear, and that's the one you live in. Man, it's put the reality into perspective with that. It's like, holy shit. So now moving ahead here, Koichi and his employers, or employees, they're out in the boat and they come across a destroyer. It's all wrecked out in the water here, out in the middle of the ocean. And they're all coming up with their own made up theories of what happened here. But it looks like one of them on the boat actually knows the truth of this. Now, that is one thing in this movie that's a sign of Godzilla on the rise, or at least coming soon, is you start to see dead fish rising up to the water. Or I think it's like fish eggs they're talking about, something like that. You start seeing mass amounts of like dead things coming to the surface. And that's supposed to be a sign of Godzilla around the corner. So not a fan of the Terrifier franchise at all. I don't think that's an unpopular opinion. It makes sense. I think, like when you look at those movies, they are very simplistic. I know as the second and third one, there is a bit more story to them. I guess it's probably fair to say that, the 2016 Terrifier that just sits with the Terrifier title. Very simplistic movie, got a clown killing or stalking a couple girls on Halloween night. Right to the point, serves its purpose. Very fun, can be very graphic. I know also in that, like, one of my favorite things in that movie when I first saw that is when he ends up skinning that one girl and he puts her skin on his body and he's all walking around like he's feeling sexy in her skin. That shit cracked me up, man. That's not the type of shit you see all the time in slasher movies. But yeah, way overrated and cheesy. Yeah, I will agree with the overrated part. All right, maybe it does get a bit cheesy. I will say a little overhyped, a little overrated at times, but I try not to make a big mess out of those movies. I try not to really overanalyze those movies, But I'm definitely a fan of the Terrifier movies. I just thought the second one runtime could have been cut down by like at least a half hour, and that would probably leave it at like an hour and 45 minutes. But I personally think slashers work best when you utilize a shorter runtime. That's just to me. That's just my personal opinion on that. All right, we got 5 people in the chat, and Tom's here from the Undead of Night. What's up there, Tom? Good to see you here. Hope all is well with you. Hi, Sean in chat. This Godzilla was a great surprise. Having characters you care about made this stand out from the recent Godzilla movies. Yes, I highly agree with that. Like I genuinely cared about these people. It wasn't too, like I did say a little bit ago, like, like the one young kid who's inexperienced, appropriate character for the movie, didn't really care about him that much, but like, everybody else I was really invested in. And I felt like their, story arcs are just very appropriate and just, placed right throughout this movie. It's just, to me, I don't find a lot of newer movies anymore where I watch it and then I'm like, bang, the credits are ready to roll. Like, damn, like, obviously 2 hours and 5 minutes was satisfying, but like, if the movie could have kept going and I would have been wanting more and more. Like, I really enjoyed this one. So, as I rated this one from, a scale 1 to 10, I give it a solid 8 out of 10. I rarely ever get things at 9 or even a 10 out of 10. So, yeah, 8 out of 10. It's definitely a good rating on my end. Yeah, good to see you here, Tom, and yeah, hope all is well with you. Thanks for stopping by. Our timestamp is currently, or my timestamp, at 37 minutes and 42, 43, 44, 45 seconds. Shimaro. And so yeah, one guy Shimaro was calling it. Oh, Godzilla, Godzilla's probably gonna be here. They're basing that on all the dead fish and everything rising up to the surface right now. But I think that is the way to do that. Is being smart on a little boat like that. Please reach out if you ever need to talk or vent or whatever. Yeah, that's like I said, Guy. I'll just have to try to message you on Instagram, and once I get the new cell phone line back up, I'll try to exchange numbers with you again. But I apologize that you texted me and you weren't able to get through. So yeah, Godzilla just rises out of the water here, and this is where the guys on the boat, besides Koichi, actually get a first-hand look at Godzilla now. I think that's his name, Koichi. I don't know, I'm bad with Japanese names. A lot of us are though. Now Godzilla's gunning for that little wooden boat. They managed to get that boat kicking though, just a little bit. Man, probably by like 10 feet right there. I guess naturally, even though, like, even with like all those like things, like, I don't know what you would call those things on Godzilla's back, that might actually slow him down in the water, like being underwater. But now they're getting ready to throw a landmine, or I mean, a water mine, underwater mine, right in the ocean now. This is where the movie kind of plays out in a way, like almost like Jaws, like the end of Jaws, with the with the oxygen tank and in his mouth and everything. This is where you kind of get some similarities, but I would not ever place this as like ripping off Jaws. Maybe just this scene, just small similarities with that, but not in any way ripping off Jaws. So that one blows up, and they're like, "Nah, he's still coming, man." But I gotta say, when I first saw this, and he had that one mine in his mouth, they let that thing go off, and he just regenerated. I was like, "Oh, you guys are screwed, man. You guys are fucked." Did he swallow that other one? I don't know if he swallowed that other water mine yet, the ocean mine. Oh no! All right, they're dropping it in the water now, and this is going to end up going in Godzilla's mouth. Yeah, he swallows that one. Man, his mouth's so big. Then they're trying to ignite it, and they see that the wire's been severed. Oh no! So then they got no choice but to shoot at it now. Yeah, that line's severed. You see that mine just dropping around and spinning around in his mouth. So now they got to shoot at that thing every time he rises out of the water. See if he can get a look at that thing in his mouth, and bang! It just blows up in his mouth. That looks like it did it, but I think if you're experienced with movies, like that would be a short movie right there, right? If he's dead and gone, right? Nah. But to see it doesn't phase him because he regenerates his injuries. But it does look like periodically right there, like, oh shit, we got him. And then you see his mouth just regenerate. Like, oh my God. First time I saw that, man, I was like, yo, you guys are fucked. Yeah, and then he comes out of the water now, too. Like, he really, yeah, and he's going to let off a loud growl, man. He's pissed. Then the fighter pilots, the other destroyers, Japanese government, they're finally kicking in now. So Jason H is saying, so far I'm liking this film, never saw it before. That's good to see. It's a first time watch for you. Didn't have my streaming paid up when it came out. That's understandable. But I mean, that Look movie link I pinned at the top. You can watch a lot of stuff on there for free. You won't necessarily get everything in HD, but for the most part, if you don't get everything in HD, like everything's pretty much watchable, and like you can't argue with free movies, really. So I will utilize Look Movie a lot, especially for newer stuff, and that helps me determine if I want to buy and own a movie. So that's why I will rely on that. So is this an origin story of Godzilla? I wish I could answer that, but there goes my limited knowledge on Godzilla. Yeah, I can't confirm that one, Greg, but I remember reading online that they weren't planning on doing a sequel. I don't want to go beyond. I don't want to spoil anything, really. So I remember reading online that they weren't interested in doing a sequel after this. But I don't want to spoil anything else or potentially ruin the end of this movie for anyone. But actually, I gotta use the bathroom real quick. I've been holding this in for a while. But I'm trying to get to the end of the scene here. Godzilla's still coming, even after the Japanese army, Air Force is coming at him. Man, he is pretty. Godzilla does look like he's been injured in some ways, but he's going to regenerate. Obviously, if you see the side of his mouth get all blown up and his mouth regenerated that quickly. So now we're moving after this scene now, and Koishi's in the hospital, but I have to use the bathroom real quick. I will be right back. Give me like 1 minute. Sorry, guys. All right, sorry about that. I'm sure if Greg, if you Googled it, you could probably find out quickly if this is some kind of origin story remake or whatever. But yeah, that's where my knowledge on Godzilla is very thin. So people saying hello to each other, and make sure you guys are subscribing to each other. I know on some channels you can click on each other's names and subscribe that way, but you might have to use the search bar, or even if you guys, that's right, you got to be a mod to share. Yeah, I got to get that fixed, man. I got to start finding the. I mean, best way to get a wrench on my channel, if you comment on a community post, that's how I can add you. But you know what? Wait a second. I might be able to fix that right now. At least for Guy. Let me, yeah, you know what? Let's get that fixed right now. Because I have an old cell phone here that I can get online with, but it's not an activated phone. Let's see if I can turn you into a mod right now. Advertisements, get out of my way. I'll have to, but if unfortunately, it's really a pain in the ass to add people as moderators when you're on a live stream. Like, let's just do. Let's see if they maybe change this. No. Delete comment, put user in timeout, ban user, and delete and star comment. That's all you can do on a live stream. So you would have to reply to like a community post on my channel, and that's how I can turn you into a mod. So, yep, there we go. All right, you're getting a wrench right now, guy. All right, there you go. It says you've been Caveman Movies and More is now a standard moderator, so you should have the wrench there, guy. And let's see if we can. You know what, Greg? If you can leave a comment on any community post on my channel, I will get you hooked up there too. But I mean, moderators are ones that can kind of share links and have limited stuff to helping out that subscriber. I don't, being a mod's like it's like day and night for me. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but it is a helpful way to share channel links and just links in general. So that is probably the best part of being a mod. So, okay, man, saying they released a King Kong movie on Steelbook recently. I'm assuming the 33 movie, the 1933 one. I think Green Day does a Godzilla mix. A Brain Stew on the soundtrack. That's all right. That'd be interesting to hear. So, K-Man saying, I know it's streaming with Apple Plus, but there is a Godzilla type series starring Kurt Russell and his son. They're playing the same person in the series. There's a lot of flashbacks. That's fucking interesting. God, thanks for sharing that, guy. Wow, that's got my interest. And 59's here. The 59 survivor of the VHS. What's up there, 59? Howdy, broski. Just stepped in from work, but had to drop by. Thank you, man. Thanks for stopping by. Always appreciate it. Hope all is good with you. Where are we at in this movie? We're a little lost in the sauce. All right, so timestamp 51 minutes and 16 seconds is where I'm at. Good nail stare. So yeah, on my end, with the bootleg I bought, everything's in English on my end. Even though like I do have the subtitles on, it does have optional subtitles, but some of them are in English and some are in Japanese. So that gets a little dicey right there. Godzilla Origins better than Matthew Broderick. Nightmare Circus has been the short scene lately for me. I'll have to check that out, man. Yeah, I can't wait till I have a proper device to interact with you guys and watch content again. Man, I'm actually missing out on that. All over the place, apparently. Yeah, it might be an underrated one, even though you don't hear that in this movie. If they did use that line, it would be like, well, where did you get that line from? But yeah, it's pretty obvious. Definitely going to need a bigger boat in this one. Going to need a bigger army in this one, too. All right. Yeah, it's good that 59 mentions that. That'll probably be the next stream on the channel. I haven't decided what Friday movie I want to go with yet. But if you guys have recommendations, leave them down there in the chat, and we'll try to tally that up and see what people are coming up with. Honestly, I might actually go with the original one just because of the fact that it's 45 years old this year. And I did plan on doing a stream a while ago for it, and I just, when that night came around, I just couldn't get to it. But I might end up doing the original 1980 movie just because it's 45 years old this year. But I'm very open to pretty much any of those movies. I love that franchise. Friday the 13th will always be my favorite slasher franchise. Like, nothing's ever going to beat that out. But now we're back at sea here. The Japanese army, and they're on the destroyer trying to fuck him up, man. Yeah, if only Godzilla could talk, like laugh at them and stuff, like, aha, take your best shot. You ain't doing shit to me. The warning sirens are going off. Emergency reports. There's a giant sea creature that come ashore. Oh, now the radio wants to rave about the fact that there's this prehistoric monster fucking shit up. This is not a hoax. I keep my fit 45-cent receipts. Yeah, it's just from watching your content, man. What was that? I mean, you built a couple wall. I think you even built a Titanic wall out of VHS tapes at one time. But like, yeah, you had a really cool Star Wars one, man. That was really cool. When I see stuff like that, someone building a wall out of like one movie or franchise movies, building a wall out of VHS tapes, like, damn, that's some dedication right there, man. That's cool shit to see, though, man. Like, oh man, I have 43 copies of Jurassic Park on VHS. Yo, he is not lying either, man. 15 Blu-rays, 0 4Ks. That's funny shit. Yeah, Greg, check out his shorts or even just any of his content. Now the classic Godzilla music's playing. He's on land now. Oh, this is gonna end up being a sad one, man. Oh my god, every time he steps, man, the asphalt just goes just comes right up out of the ground. Oh my god. But right now, Koishi's soon to be wife, she's on a train and Godzilla's picking that thing up right now. This is actually shot really well, I think. Even though, you do have to consider that a lot of this is, green screen computer graphics, but no, it's a lot of this really looks good though. Hey, he's got that train in his mouth right now. Hey, she's hanging by a fucking pole. Oh, he just crunches down on that, man. What is she gonna fall on that? What? I kind of forget what happens to her here. Yeah, so she falls in the water, luckily. But man, there's a lot of debris coming down after her. And then with what you would see in classic Godzilla movies, you always have to, the local news reporters being on top of like a skyscraper and reporting like, oh no, we probably shouldn't be up here, but Godzilla, he's tearing up the town. I'm glad that they added this in, man. It just, I feel like, with the news reporters, it just gives you that feel, you're watching a classic Godzilla movie. It is insane for us to be here. Godzilla's tearing up the city. Oh man, this guy, that skyscraper they're standing on is falling in half right now. Oh my god, this movie's so thrilling, man. It really is. I mean, like, yeah, there's a couple people watching this for the first time, but like, I don't. I just think it's always wise to like, whether it's a first time watch or not, and I'd say you end up enjoying it, no matter what it is, watch it on your own with no distractions. No matter what it is. That's how I feel like you really become fully submerged into a movie and just you got nothing to distract you. You can pay attention to all dialogue, characters, all details. Which is actually another reason why I don't like to do watch parties for movies I'm not familiar with. Like doing a first time watch on a watch party, you're probably going to see me sitting here being quiet and watching the movie. So that's another reason why I don't really do first time watches for watch parties. But yeah, they got the tanks. That's another classic thing with Godzilla movies. You got the army tanks coming out, those little single guy tanks coming out and just firing at them. All the rubble and the dust is covering them. It's all quiet for a moment. And then he comes out. The citizens are like, oh no. Why are they not running? Why are they sitting there staring? Now the radiation's kicking in. The radiation's kicking in throughout Godzilla. It's starting from his tail, going right up to his head. So cool. Yeah, that's Godzilla done right, man. Man, he just shot out that laser radiation there. Whoa! Oh my god! They're all done. Wow. That's like a nuclear bomb going off. Oh no! Koichi. I feel like this scene's a little frustrating in a way because Koichi and his wife could have probably just jumped at him and they both could have went into that little alleyway, but she pushed him out of the way into that alleyway and she took the full brunt of that force coming at her. Or Noriko, that's right. I think that's her name, Norikyo or something. But yeah, she got wiped out, man. That's sad. It's very sad, very devastating for him, especially when you see how went from a full town with skyscrapers and buildings, and now it's just all open space. I'd say this really was another surprising part when I first saw this. I didn't think Noriko was really going to get wiped out in this movie, but this gives this really just ends up giving him more reason to fuel his revenge for the fact that his parents have already been killed by Godzilla. And now his future family's pretty much being wiped out too. He's left with nothing again. All different versions are just of the US release. I am reverse engineering video store. Pretty that is a good way to describe that. But Godzilla lets out one last roar, like, "Yeah, you fuckers can shoot at me. You can come at me with all your firepower. I'm always gonna dominate you ones. I'm the king of the jungle." Yeah, Koishi's all fired up now. Now it's starting to rain. Or maybe that's like more debris coming down. Yeah, no, it's actually just starting to rain. And now you hear the aftermath of it. An estimated 30,000 people have been killed. Over 20,000 homes and buildings destroyed, man. Now they got to do all the radiation testing and and yes, let's see, US only. Three of this JP are sealed. Wow. The only, you know what's funny? The only VHS tapes I have sealed, they're not, no, they're down in the basement. I have the original Star Wars trilogy, like not the special editions one. I have the original Star Wars trilogy, the first VHS trilogy release set. I guess that might have came out in like late 80s. And they still have those tape things on them. Those little like blue, yellow, and red tape seals. Those are still on them too. I found them at a flea market a few years ago. Somebody was selling the set for like under $5, and I was like, all right, $5. They're still sealed. Like no one's ever watched these things. But those are the only VHS tapes I have in my collection that are still sealed with those little tape things. That final seal, like where it takes you to pull the tape out, you would have to cut that little tape bar. I have those and they're still sealed, but yeah, I'm such a Star Wars, freak like that. So even though I'm not a VHS collector like I am nowadays with like Blu-ray and DVD, like, if I find stuff like that from time to time, yeah, I will buy stuff, especially if the price is reasonable or cheap for me. But I don't like putting a VHS tape in the machine and then, oh no, it's getting eaten up. There goes the movie I just bought. I don't have it anymore because it just got sucked into the machine. No, I don't. No, I had to eliminate that problem. That's why I'm not a VHS collector anymore. But yeah, I mean, I still have a lot of my VHS tapes. Still have my original Jaws tape. That thing's beat the hell. But growing up though, like with VHS and stuff, a lot of stuff I relied on dubbing off of the TV. So I'm sure a lot of you guys did. And V's here, Vanta Black. What's up, V? Good to see you here. Thank you. Thanks for dropping the like. And yeah. I try to get on your channel sometimes Friday nights. I try to stop by and say hello when I can. And like I was saying a bit earlier, I got to get a more proper cell phone device so I can stay more active to interact with you people on the internet. But I will be back in full force again at some point. But it's good to hear from you, and thanks for stopping by and saying hello and dropping a like. So this is where they're going to start to put this plan in place on how to defeat Godzilla. And I got to say, for everyone in this room to swallow this whole idea of defeating him really is a huge pill to swallow. Hey man, I didn't know there was a Kurt Russell Godzilla series. Like, it's really like, I actually can't wait till the stream ends because I got I gotta, get more info on it. I gotta look into that. So again, guy over at Caveman Movies, thanks for sharing that. It's, as I've said already, I'm not the biggest Godzilla fan, but that really has my interest. I mean, I love Kurt Russell as it is, so yeah. Definitely gonna look into that a bit more. CGI in this looks decent. I'm sorry, I just took that off there from Greg, but yeah, I would say, for what you get with this movie, modern movie, 2023, it does the job, man. It really does. Yeah, it's good to see you're enjoying it so far, Greg. And yeah, when I was talking to you on Instagram, I was thinking about doing the Django Unchained because I recently went back and watched that. It's been a while since I've seen it. And yeah, I mentioned this one, and you were like, I haven't seen Godzilla, and I was like, all right, yeah, let's do something. To me, I think it just, I don't do a lot of newer movies. That was another thing that kind of fell in place with why I landed on this. It's like, all right, let's try to do something a bit newer, something that isn't so graphic and horror related. It's PG-13 movie. I don't do a lot of PG-13 movies, and it was something new for you, Greg. So it all made sense to land on this one. But yeah, I still want to do the Django Unchained. want to get into a lot more Quentin Tarantino movies, really. The only movie I ever did a stream for, I did a double feature for Kill Bill 1 and 2. That was on the old channel that got terminated. Ended up being like a 4-hour stream, but I would like to do that again, honestly. I would like to do another watch party for Kill Bill 1 and 2, because, yeah, like, I feel like I almost know how to, like, approach that one a bit better. Like, I also, like, when I did that stream, I don't think I gave enough time for people to get ready for the next one. I kinda just swooped right into it a minute later, and I don't think that gave other people time to join in for it, so I think I know how to approach that stream now, and just, the more you do these streams and the more you do any content, you start to get, an idea of, like, what works good and what's just best for people as viewers to join you and get into things. So it's always experience with stuff, and you just learn from any previous minor mistakes and just learn how to do things a little bit better. But yeah, I do want to get into some more Tarantino movies. I really want to do Pulp Fiction too. I mean, I want to do all of his movies. I love all of his movies, man. There's not a single one where I'm like, I don't know about that one. I love all of his movies. I would even like to do a stream for like Jackie Brown, honestly. One movie, like, obviously people love Jackie Brown, but I don't hear people always talk about Jackie Brown. But yeah, I love that movie. Agree, Greg, and was worried about the CGI before I watched it, but it fits in okay. Yeah, that's well said, Tom. Godzilla -1 is not a traditional origin story, but it's set in a specific time period immediately after after World War II, and focuses on Godzilla's first appearance in Japan. Thanks, thanks Google. So, yeah, Google's always helpful in that way, right? But see, I didn't do that research before this. Like I said, I'm not the biggest Godzilla fan either, but I wasn't sure how attached to this, or how this was attached to an origin story, if it was or not. But yeah, that thanks for sharing that there, V. That allows me to go on that info right now. Monarch Legacy of Monsters is the name of the show with Kurt Russell and Wyatt Russell. Well, I recently went back and watched the Overlord that has Wyatt Russell in it. And one of the reasons why I went back and watched it, I bought one of those Paramount Blu-ray sets that had that in there. And when I first watched it, which was on Look Movie, I didn't finish the movie, and I wanted to see the rest of it. I found that set very cheap. I went back and watched it, and Overlord's it's a good movie for what it is. Nothing to get all like, yo, you have to see this movie, Overlord, But no, it's fun for what it is. J.J. Abrams movie. It's fun, but Wyatt Russell as an actor, apparently, like, when he was making that movie, he was very sick. He was like battling some kind of crazy fever. Obviously, this is all before COVID, but like he had some very, like, I don't know. Apparently he was very, like, sickly throughout making that, and I think he did a pretty good job, because him on screen in Overlord, I'd never get the idea that he's going through some kind of flu or fever throughout that movie. So I think he did a pretty good job with that. But apparently Wyatt Russell, Kurt Russell's son, like he grew up playing a lot of ice hockey. Wanted to become an ice hockey player. Guess he figured out at some point he doesn't have what it takes to be an ice hockey player, and guess he dove headfirst into acting and just tried to follow in Kurt's footsteps there. But yeah, I wouldn't say like some knockout actor, but he has what it takes to be an actor. Greg saying I can tolerate CGI if it's done right. Exactly, yeah. Nowadays it's rushed and down cheap and looks rough and too animated. Doesn't blend in the environment. It stands out where you're like, what's that over there? And it becomes distracting, almost to a point where, like, I can't help but focus on this shitty fucking CGI over here. I don't care what you're doing on the screen right now. This bullshit stands out. Like, yeah, also like that. What is that Predator Badlands trailer. I can't believe I saw that when that came out, like even the day before it was like, all right, trailer's coming out tomorrow at 12 noon. Watch it. It was like, really? You're trying to fool all of us with this terrible CGI? Like, still gonna see Predator Badlands. It's a franchise I could just never give up on. I think a lot of us who are fans of Alien and Predator just can't give up on it, but still gonna see it. But the looks of that is, oh my god, looks very sorry right now. Also, the Predator's got like a shaved sides on there and like a Jamaican kind of dreadlock ponytail in the back, and it's just like, why is it so hard to give us the original look of the Predator? Why can't you just do that? Like, come on, man. I don't get it. Fuck my life. I don't know. I need to finish the series. It's all about monsters, or it's about all monsters, not just Godzilla. Sorry for reading that wrong there, guy. But yeah, guy, you should be a moderator. I can't see it through the chat right now, but you should be fully moderated now. If anyone else leaves a comment in the community post section, I'll try to fix that too. So, like, overall, like, like the one smart guy that's on the boat, trying to get back into this movie here, like the one smart guy that's on the boat, with these guys that are picking up, all the water mines and everything as they do their job. He's the one who really ultimately comes up with this plan to take down Godzilla forever. And it's some kind of like device where they're going to like surround him in the water and then close in on him. And it comes down to some kind of like oxygen tanks or something pulling him under the water. And that's supposed to just completely keep him underwater and kill him that way. It's a very dicey thing, especially when you consider that, Godzilla hasn't been phased by anything thrown at them yet. But they do have to, work together. They have to try something here to wipe him out for their future of, to try, just be relevant and exist, be human beings. But I find it really fucked up, though. It's like they're not getting no aid from any other countries. This is all falling on Japan. It's where the one guy on the boat's like, "What is that flotation device that you came up with? It weighs some 20,000 pounds or 20,000 tons to pull him under the ocean." It's a dicey plan, but you have to do something, and obviously it's a movie. I feel like that alone just makes it really exciting. Used to have a really cool Godzilla shirt with the Japanese rising sun flag in the background. Fuck, I can visualize what you're talking about, Greg. I can, yeah. I definitely didn't have much Godzilla stuff when I was a kid, man. Maybe like a few miniature toys or something here and there. Yeah, I just know the first Godzilla movie I ever seen was the 1985 movie. Enjoyed that at a very young age, and like I said, guys, I'm not the biggest Godzilla fan, but this movie really struck a chord with me when I first saw it a couple of years ago. Like I said, I give this one a solid 8 out of 10. It really did the job for me. Like I care about the characters in this too, and just well act movie, and yeah, just very solid movie all around. Okay, man, say whatever you did to try to send me the wrench, it still isn't showing up. God. You're not the only one I ever had this trouble with, so let's see if we can fix this again. Like, I remember I've sent other people wrenches, and they're like, it's still not highlighting over here. I'm like, come on, man. It's a bunch of bullshit. But, guy, it's not your fault. Let me just try this again. It says you're a moderator. Like, it says if Like, like, oh, this is so frustrating. Like, it literally says remove as standard moderator. So, oh wait, add as approved user. Maybe that might fix the problem. Is now an approved user for your channel. Now you are an approved user for the channel. Let me know if that might have fixed it. Or, I mean, Vance is saying maybe refresh the stream. Because I can't add people as mods through the stream, unfortunately. Testicles. Yeah, I'm doing everything I can over here for you. It should be something so simple. But this has happened with other people where I'm like, I sent you the wrench, you should be good. And they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm still not a moderator. Like, what? I don't know. Refreshing is always worth a try, that's for sure. I mean, there's times where things don't work right on my phone. I go, you know what? I'm shutting this thing down. And I shut the phone down, turn it back on. Everything is working the way it should be working. VHS use to take up a lot of room. No deluxe editions. Blu-rays takes up more room. Yeah, that's shelf space with VHS. Also, shipping VHS tapes to people, the weight of those could be very. I remember I sent someone like, I think it was like 4 or 5 VHS tapes. It was like $13, and I was like, this is only going to like Carolina. I live in Pennsylvania. Like 5 tapes, $13. Like, ugh. Can only imagine people that send like big packages of VHS tapes. Imagine what that shit weighs. But you know what though? Like, I do appreciate VHS collectors especially when they show off their collection and stuff. I'm just like, man, like, some impressive stuff to see. It really is. Sean might need to refresh it, so hopefully it's there next stream for you. That could be true too. I can't do anything till I'm done with the stream here, but V could be right about that. But all right, K-Man say, I don't want to make a big deal about Regis because I'm not here to take already was channel all about promoting. Guy, you don't have to explain yourself, But no, it's always wise to share that in the comments. I know why you're here, and I get. You know what? I wish there was more people like you, man. You put yourself out there, and you watch people's content when you can, which is always about it. It shouldn't be a competition with supporting channels. It shouldn't. So you watch channels when you can. That goes for everyone. Just watch content when you can. The only way all this works is if you're a content creator and you get back. That's it. Also, without money being involved. But if you want to donate money to channels, go for it. My channel's never going to be about that, because I'm just going to say it right now. What I do here on YouTube is not worth one red fucking cent. That's that. But it's always good to acknowledge other channels and push other channels, because sometimes, that's another thing. There could be some really good channels that have like less than like 200 subscribers. So some of these channels just need that push. They need that kind of recognition sometimes, man. It can be tough, I just know what I do on here is not worth any currency at all. And it's just not ever gonna be that way. This is about enjoying your free time and interacting and connecting with people. That's it. But for the people that when COVID hit, they turned their YouTube channel into a job. Yo, go back to work. COVID's gone. What the fuck, man? It's like people, I need to hit 1 million subscribers so I can be monetized and, talk to you guys and bore you out, and you guys can give me all your money. Fucking bullshit. All right, so Koishi now. What was that plane? All right, so one of the planes from the previous war, in World War II,
And back at the end of 1945, there some of the planes that the Japanese didn't use. They weren't like fully equipped, weren't like fully built right. They had some of those left over, and Koichi knows of the one surviving mechanic, which is, I think, perfectly utilized with these characters. Obviously, this guy was from the beginning of this movie, rightfully disappeared in the middle part of it, and then he gets pulled back in again. That's good storytelling right there, written perfectly well. Forget the name of that plane though, but yeah, that's well said, V. StreamYard seems to make things confusing for people now, especially when it comes to pulling up these comments with advertisements and. Don't get me started on that. Agree, but I've accused of trying to take over. I've never I've never gotten that vibe from you, okay, man. But I do know fucking not going to stay on this topic too long. I used to do a lot of streams with Texas, and woo, man, why does caveman always need a wrench and blah blah blah? Like, fucking cares, man. Why something like something that actually has some legs on it to bitch about? Like, just I don't get. I never understood his bitching and moaning about that all the time though. Tall caveman comes in, talks about wrenches and this thing. Just like, all right, dude, fine. Like, I don't care. As long as he's here and he's having a good fucking time, he can do whatever he wants. As long as he's not disrespecting anyone, I don't give a shit. That's I think it'd be, it's a waste time on bitching about something. Let's see if someone's sitting there being disrespectful. All right, it's valid for you to be bitching right now, but bitching over someone asking for a wrench, like, grow the fuck up, dude. You're supposed to be 60 years old. Grow the fuck up, dude. But yeah, I'm not going to stay on that topic because I ain't going to go nowhere. I wonder if VCRs will ever come back. Be weird seeing a V8. Yeah. Imagine having like a VCR, DVD, Blu-ray, 4K player or something, man. I think it would be big as shit. But I don't think VCR is ever going to make a comeback. I mean, Laserdisc, that was around like maybe 10 years, something like that. Shit, you know what's funny? I didn't even know about Laserdisc till the late 90s. I was like, what is Laserdisc? What? Like, I think the only Laserdisc edition I have. Oh shit! This is the only Laserdisc edition I have, and I found this at a flea market a couple years ago for like $3. John Carpenter's "In the Mouth of Madness," and it's still in the shrink wrap. But it's been open. Obviously, it's been played and everything. But I found this at a flea market, and the guy had so many random ones, but they were so beat up. And this was like the only one that was like in decent condition, still had shrink wrap attached to it. And I was like, yo, it's John Carpenter. I'm a John Carpenter mark. So I'm a sucker for like anything related to that. And I was like, this is really good condition for $3. It's the original "In the Mouth of Madness" artwork there. But I was like, as a collector, I don't have any Laserdisc editions. So I was like, you know what, let's buy it. It's only $3. And I remember this guy had Silence of the Lambs, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, but they were like literally falling apart in my hands. Like all this like album, like cardboard stuff was all like, it was fraying off in my hands. I was like, let me put this shit back before I make it worse. But this one, yeah, was in good condition, $3. I was like, yeah, I'm buying it. So that's more of just I guess you could say, display collector's piece, really, for me. But I was like, I don't own any or Laserdisc stuff, but I felt like that was pretty cool to have. Yeah, thank you too, V. Especially when you find out haters are actually not my friends like those. Yeah. I don't even like having the. Actually, I should probably delete that Hangout stream I fucking did. I don't get enjoyment out of having to put people on blast. I really don't, but those two fucking stabbed the backstabbed the shit out of me after especially spending hundreds of dollars on them too. They're supposed to be my friends, and then nah, we can't even. It's another thing. I tried to email in Texas. I was like, dude, I need to talk to you on the phone. He couldn't even do that. Spineless fucking motherfucker. Couldn't even get on the phone with me. Supposed to be friends with this dude for a couple years now. Couldn't even get on the fucking phone with me. Oh, you know what? I'm busy right now. I might have time to talk to you later. And that's it. Now, he knew I was going to light his ass up. Him and fucking Juno, man. Look, dude, I don't think I'm that scary or intimidating. I can be very, very fair with people. And if there's something done wrong here, let's just be adults and let's talk it out. Nah, spineless. Couldn't even face me like a fucking man. Nah, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. Me and Juno are just going to do streams. We're going to fucking stab you in the back and do all this side commenting. So that's why I did that fucking stream and sat there and lit them the fuck up the whole time. Fuck those motherfuckers, man. Spending hundreds of dollars on you motherfuckers. And what did they ever send me in return? Zip, zero, nada, nothing. All I got to say is, Juno's lucky he lives where he lives in his fucking father's house in fucking California. And Texas is lucky where he lives in his fucking sheltered fucking home with no fucking friends. Fucking pussies. God, it's just getting off of that subject now. Getting off of that shit before I get really heated. But, God, just. Great Brewer is next generation VHS being that. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Miss C's here. Miss C, hello, how are you? Hey, Sean, long time no see. That's on me though. I don't get into many live streams. No, that's all good. Some of these live streams will be coming at different times in the future. But yeah, I haven't even been over at Grande's channel in a little while. But yeah, I'm still here. Good to see you here too. And yeah, we're we all support channels when we can. It's all good, It's a lot of channels, to stay up to date on. It really is, especially, when people are just, you putting yourself out there, you try to support channels. But no, there's no worries there, Miss C. You've always been very nice, and it's always been fun to interact with you. So no worries there. I'm sorry for going on that rant there. Oh my God, let me get off of that. Let's get back to the movie. Oh, I'm sorry. Sometimes I hit these comments a bit too quick. But all right, yeah, we got 7 people. I'm coming up on almost 1 o'clock in the morning. I did start this about 11 o'clock Eastern time on my end. But yeah, I don't get too many late streams going. I decided I was like, 8 o'clock time, I was like, all right, I'm going to do Godzilla tonight. And then I started getting trailer footage together. It took me like 2 hours. And then next, 11 o'clock rolled around. So, but I am going to try to get some other streams. Like I said, there might be some at like 4, 5, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Might be some you might see at like 8 or 9 Eastern Time, but things are going to be a little all over the place. But either way, we're going to get stuff done and just have fun with it. Try to enjoy it as much as possible. Yeah, you know what? I am a little bit in the chat, aren't I? I gotta go. All right, all right, V. I'm sorry I wasn't able to say goodbye to you when you were here, but yeah, you know what? Tony, like especially that's when you have like 15 people in the chat and you're trying to like pay attention to a movie and then to the chat too, it can be a little hard to do. But you know what? Really no one's fault, man. It's just the way it plays out like that. And all right, Nathan's here from NDT Show. What's up, Nathan? Good to see you here. Hope all is well with you, man. Thanks for stopping by. All right, let's try to speed this. All right, there we go. All right, now I'm caught. All right, but it can be a lot to do sometimes. Juggle everything. It can be a lot sometimes, but regardless, it's all in good fun, man. No, Guy, you're all good, man. It's not, no, don't worry about it. That's always going to be a sensitive subject with them too, because I thought that both of those guys were my friends. And no, but I learned a valuable lesson from it, and no offense to anyone, but I have to realize that when I talk to people on the internet, there's actually a difference between everyday friends and internet friends. No disrespect to anyone. I just had to learn a lesson from that, and you can definitely treat internet friends like everyday people, but you can't. There is like a fine line you have to put in between that. Unfortunately, it has to be like that. So you can't be. I guess what I'm trying to say is you can't be overly friendly with people because they will find a way to stab you in the fucking back. So that's just how I have to look at things, if compared to everyday people that you can communicate with. Because imagine if Juneau and Texas were people I would see in person. I'm sorry, I'd be like, all right, it's time for you and I to talk. And if you got a problem with that, that means you're going to be running right now. We're in person. There's no backing away from this. So for him, it was real easy for him to be spineless and shady like that. And oh, I can't talk to you right now. I'm busy. Like, nah, dude, you're being a little fucking bitch. You're being a little fucking pussy boy. You're running away from the problem here. So I'm going to chew you the fuck out. You're dead wrong for what you're doing. He knew what he was doing was fucking wrong. He didn't want to face up to it though. And Juno, uh, Juno, very nice guy. He really is. He's just not someone who's built for confrontation. And he didn't really do anything wrong, but he sat there and he didn't say a fucking word. Spineless. He couldn't, just stand up for a friend. He just, all right. I understand that's dicey, you got a triangle of friends there and you don't want to get in on it, but damn, dude, you couldn't stand up for somebody there. That's all right, though. I mean, if Juno wants to paint his nails and listen to Duran Duran, maybe Texas can help him out with that. So, but yeah, Juno paints his nails. A little weird. All right, that's good. No, no, no. But it's Guy. You're not doing nothing wrong, man. You're not doing nothing wrong. I mean, I probably shouldn't even have said that shit. But Texas would always say that shit, man. Because like, yeah, you'd be there in the chat and you'd be like, can't stand caveman shows up, always talking about wanting a ranch. And I'm just like, just let that shit go, dude. It's not like he's fucking bothering people. So what? How else is she gonna get a wrench? But no, man, hey man, at least you support channels. I mean, Texas, he does support channels. He does watch stuff. But I will say this: if he actually had a life put in place, a structured life, he wouldn't have no time for channels. But I don't know. Oh, that's whatever. But let's get back to the movie. No, I know sometimes I get a little overly heated with things, but no, Guy, you're not doing nothing wrong, man. I probably shouldn't have said that shit, but I was just like on that tangent, and like you were there in the chat, and I was like, something's coming to light now. I remember now. Fucking Texas always bitching about fucking caveman talking about a wrench. Like, let's mention that bullshit. I probably should have fucking went. I don't know. I was doing anything to take stabs because I felt like I was betrayed, and I was, dude. But learned a valuable lesson out of that. Just can't send people packages no more. Can't be overly friendly with people. It's got to be a fine line drawn in place, and just got to leave it at that. All right, so this is where I'm a little out of play because like when I was watching this recently, I didn't get to finish the last 30 minutes of this, 30 or so minutes. But Godzilla's back on the scene now. This is at Sagami Bay. Attention everyone, Sagami Bay is under attack. But Guy, thanks for mentioning that Kurt Russell Godzilla series. Like it's went over my head, man. I'm gonna, try to look into that and gain some more knowledge on that and look into that and see if I can. I'm sure it's probably on Look Movie. Actually, I'll have to look into that too. Oh, man, my nose is running. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. I don't know why my nose is running. It's not even cold out. That's another thing, man. That epic music that plays in the background, that dun 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 dun, like that really gets you into the movie too, I think. Hey, that is a very unique plane, man. What is that thing? I've never seen a plane like that where the wings are in the back part of the cockpit like that. Yeah, so all the citizens got to sit back and watch, man. It's going to be triumph or disaster, right? More disaster. So we're coming up on 206. Yeah, I think we are on the flight now. Yeah, about 25 minutes, I think, left. So yeah, maybe we'll take this right up to 2:30. We'll see. So we're at 206 right now on the stream, but still got 6 people for a late stream. This turned out pretty well. Yeah, but guy, no, you did nothing wrong, man. You did nothing wrong. Trust me. I've talked to you enough on here. You're here to talk about movies and stuff. Unfortunately, getting too friendly with people can really go sour sometimes. Just it is what it is. No, you didn't get me upset or nothing. I appreciate that, Greg. I think it's just best at this point, is communicating and interacting with you guys is just trying to keep it at that, I guess. Like I I don't know, man. It's really hard to say how to handle that because like I talk to you guys. I think time, I guess there you go. Time will tell. Time will tell how things evolve. Is just the best way to approach that. And I just need to my head's got to be on a swivel with people. And, you know, I still talk to people since I've joined up on here since day one. So I don't know, it's tough. It's really tough because it's not like you can really properly read people on the internet. Oh man, Godzilla just tried biting that plane out of the air, just missed him, man. Oh man, you're playing around. He's playing with fire right now. This pilot. That was a cool shot, though. Oh, Godzilla's fearless, though, man. He's like, come at me with whatever you got. He's leading them out into the water now. Is exactly what they want, right? They want him to go through that trench. He looks really ticked off. They're saying. Okay, man. Saying I'm not built for confrontations either, but not a placemat. Yeah, right. You gotta have respect for yourself and stand your own ground. Definitely do. And just people in general, it's tough, man. It is, and naturally, people butt heads. They just do, and I don't. I don't know, like, people I consider friends, I just never gotten that vibe to be like, you know what? I can't talk to him. I'm just gonna stab him in the back. I don't know. Where I was born and raised, you don't do that to people, friend or foe. Even a foe. You don't do that to a foe. Alright, now they're sending out the destroyers. So far they got Godzilla to take the bait. This does have a really real interesting ending to this. So technically I've watched this 2 times. The second time I watched it, I didn't catch the last half hour of it, so Godzilla's fully radiated, right? I think his being one of these people that gotta go up against him, seeing that radiation going, like I'd be like, you guys better have sunglasses on for that. Then that classic burn, dun 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 dun. Those heat rays are no joke. I don't even know why you sent them ships out there. You just sent them out there to their death. Damn, I didn't play any clips during this stream, but no, it's that's good though. You know, there's been people in the chat and conversations going. So usually the clips are for dead air. You know, nothing going on. It's filling the dead air. But yeah, haven't had to do that. So thank you guys for just hanging out and just trying to chip in and interact. You know, that's what makes streams worth doing. But I mean, as of right now, like maybe I'll try to get a poll up on the channel tomorrow and see if you guys want to vote on a Friday movie. What Friday the 13th movie to do for Friday? I'm very open to almost any Friday the 13th movie. One movie, which is actually will always be the bottom of the barrel for me, is Jason Takes Manhattan. To me, it's still a watchable movie, but it's always dead last on my ranking list. Like, I actually would rather watch Jason X and Jason Goes to Hell over Jason Takes Manhattan. I just, yeah. But I really do like every movie in the franchise, so there's really no wrong Friday the 13th movie to go with. But maybe I'll try to get a poll up on the channel. I think you can only do like 4 things to vote from, so we'll see. We'll see. But if not, maybe I might land on the original 1980 movie since it's 45 years old, and I was planning on doing a stream for that. But we'll see. But Guy, there's nothing to worry about, man. I'm definitely not going to sit here and be like, there's nothing to worry about, and then go against my word. I would never do that. But nah, dude, you're not stirring me up. You're just talking about facts. I'm just reacting to it. Obviously, like I'm trying my best to not talk about them too. Like I don't want that to consume streams really. But like if someone brings it up, I'm gonna just lay my honest feelings out on it, and that's it. But no, hasn't consumed the stream. The stream's been great, and yeah. Fortunately, that they laid it out to be that way. All right, then that's the way it's got to be. So. All right, one last drink here. This is some ballsy shit here. A lot of lies at stake for this. Oh, they're hitting the underwater devices on him now. This is it or now or never, right? It's pulling them under too. It's 1,200, 1,300 meters, 1,400, 1,450. Target that has exceeded 15, 1520. Keeps going. Godzilla ain't gonna give up that easy, right? Oh, all his lights went out, all that radiation went out on him real quick. Looks like it's over. Cable wires are whipping back now. What's the plan B? They're talking about plan B already. Oh, yeah, now those flotation devices are bringing them up. Oh, yeah, Friday the 13th, 1980. Yeah, like another reason why I even considered that too, because I never did a watch party for the original Friday. I did do a double feature before for 2 and 3, and I remember doing the 40th anniversary for part 4. I think those are the only times I ever did Friday the 13th stream. So maybe we might just go with the original, but maybe we'll throw a poll out there tomorrow, try to get that up there soon before Friday hits. And we'll see, but there's no wrong movie to pick, in my opinion. It just says I really do enjoy all those movies. The flotation devices are coming to the surface here. Hey, that's a lot of work on that destroyer. You see that? Damn, these things are pumping away. Oh, now it's ripping all the it's ripping all the cranes out of place on the ship. This really is like a flip of a coin, This is either going to work or you're all fucked. Like, I feel like that kind of brings a bigger question to the surface of, all right, if no one's going to come to their aid, and let's say Godzilla wipes out Japan, where's he going next? He's coming after all you assholes who didn't help out Japan. But Caveman saying Monarch Legacy of Monsters, a series that explores one family's journey to uncover their hidden legacy and a secret organization called Monarch after the world-shattering revelation that he ran out of con. All right, we had to extend that revelation that monsters are real. Specifically, the series follows Kate Rhonda, who, after surviving Godzilla's attack on San Francisco, uncovers a shocking secret about her family and Monarch. Had to continue with the next con, leading her on a globe-trotting adventure. That's interesting, man. Thank you for sharing all that, guy. Really, now I got something else that'll be new to me to look into and watch. So I'll have to check out Look Movie as I usually do for most newer stuff for me, or just anything that'll be new to me, because it's on usually like 9 times out of 10. Look Movie has what I'm looking for between TV and shows, but it's another thing. As I said, I like to use Look Movie for things that I haven't watched before or haven't seen, and that helps me decide if I want to go buy something. If it's like worth it for me to own and have in my collection. That's another thing, with being a collector. I don't just buy anything nowadays like I did a few years ago. I used to just buy up stuff, and then I'm like, shit, I don't like this sitting on my shelf, taking up space. Like, it becomes a lot as a collector. It really does. But collectors are do or die, though. I know I'm going to be a collector to the day I'm not on this planet anymore. But Greg, I remember you sent me that picture on Instagram of that hardware, the movie Hardware, that box set you got. I forget who released that, maybe Umbrella or Eureka or something like that. But like when I saw that, I was like, damn, dude, that's a movie I don't have in my collection, haven't seen in a long time. I really want to see that movie, Hardware, again. That's a really cool, like early 90s sci-fi movie right there. But that was a really like epic looking box set. I think I even I was like, yeah, I'll unbox it on your channel. I think you did unbox it on your channel, if I remember correctly. We just saw Godzilla spitting out all that radiation. He's underwater right now. What's gonna happen? Koishi's coming in with that one fighter pilot now. Oh, he's rising. Koishi, Koishi, for Noriko. Wow. Oh, kamikaze. And he just sacrificed himself. Like, oh my God. I forgot about this. Oh no, he jumped out in time. Thank God, I forgot about this. Oh man. They did a good job at masking that, they didn't really show him eject out of that plane. They also, it was like an overhead shot, and then from under, the seat has ejected. He has ejected the device. Maybe that's what they worked on. Now they're showing when they worked on the plane. Dude, that played the hell out of me. See, I forgot about the ending. Maybe I should have watched this in full when I had the time. All right. All right. So Nathan's saying I got to meet Kane Hodder over the weekend. Nice, man. Very nice, man. Hopefully that was a good experience for you. I know I've heard people say before, like when they meet him in person, a lot of times he'll be wearing gloves. I know he is someone who's experienced some very intense burns and stuff from being a stuntman over the years, and kind of shows in his neck area. I know that too. So hopefully that was a good experience. I'm not too big on meeting celebrities. I've been to, well, not I haven't been to too many proper conventions, but I've met celebrities at movie screenings, stuff like that. Best one I've ever experienced is Bill Moseley. I met him at a screening of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and he was signing autographs for people. Very cheap too. I think like less than 20 some dollars, something like that. He actually signed me for free. There was people coming up to him. I just walked up to him, started talking to him. Like, it's a very open person, but I'm not too crazy about meeting celebrities really. But hopefully that was a good experience for you, Nathan. Yeah, it's Friday the 13th. Man. It's just such a fun franchise, man. Probably better off that Jason doesn't talk either. Friday the third. I mean, Nightmare on Elm Street. It's a fun franchise too, but it fizzles out by the fourth movie for me. And the one-liners with Freddy, it all becomes a late night comedy show after that. But still a fun franchise. But nothing can top Friday the 13th for me. It just can't, man. I don't know. I don't think anything's ever going to top that for me as far as favorite slasher franchise there. But Koishi has come out on top. He's lived. He managed to eject himself. And what is the final moment leading up to this in this movie? We're on the last 10 minutes, including credits. And it looks like his wife survived. What a good way to mask all that, dude. Oh man. So he managed to get revenge for his parents. He thought he was getting revenge for his wife that died in the last disaster from Godzilla. No, she survived. She's been in the hospital the whole time. This is, wow. Talk about a wave of emotions for someone. So, all right, yeah, that was Umbrella. Okay, yeah, Umbrella does a really good job with their releases, man. A lot of great titles to pick from throughout their catalog, too. So, so it's 10 episodes, season 2 is scheduled. So, wow, all right, wow, okay. It looks like we'll have more to come with that. Yeah, Guy, thanks for showing up and relaying that info, man. Really do appreciate that. So now this, all right, I remember this now. See Godzilla's head underwater floating down, and it looks like it's regenerating. That leaves room for a sequel, right? But then the big G comes up on the screen, the credits are gonna roll. It looks like that lost head's regenerating under the water, right? Godzilla! He's not done yet. But I remember reading online that apparently they're not interested in doing a sequel. You know what I got to say about that? Money talks. Money talks. We'll see if the right money's thrown at the right people to get another movie going. But I think there's plenty of room for another movie. But I guess, if you got the right people in play again, or right people in place to do another movie. But so yeah, that is Godzilla -1. I had a good time watching this again, and yeah, looks like we have 7 people left in the chat. So Nathan saying, yeah, Bill, I met him as well over the weekend. Very cool. Yeah, that's good to see you met Bill, man. I don't know. I was surprised when I met him, man. Like he was like, dude, I'll sign your. I had my Blu-ray with me with the artwork. He's like, I'll sign your Blu-ray. He's like, but no, just one thing. Where can I get a good cheesesteak at around here? I was like, give me a pen and paper, dude. I'll give you a list of places to go. He's like, no, I just want to know, like, what is the best place in your opinion? And I was like, all right, I'll just give you top 3. All right, I'll just give you the top 3, and like, seriously, pick one of those 3, and you'll be satisfied. And he was this very open and friendly person, but unfortunately, the guys that were running the screening were looking at me with the stink eye, like, why are you fucking talking to Bill right now? Like, they didn't say nothing to me, but they were looking at me with the stink eye, like, why are you talking to him right now? But all right, so yeah, we'll cut this. We'll take this up to 2:30. We're at like 2:28 right now, but yeah, I had a really good time going back and watching this again. So. But yeah, that's Greg. Greg, good to see that. This is something you enjoyed for a first-time watch. I know we had a couple first-time watches in here, and Guy over at Caveman Movies and More. Thank you for hanging out with us along the way and sharing some good info there. But if I didn't, trust me, I'm going to work on trying to fix that moderator thing. I'm going to try to fix that. So. Maybe I didn't get that fixed this time around, but I'm going to, trust me, dude, I'm not going to forget about you, but I'm going to work on trying to get that properly fixed. But you're not the first one that's told me that there's been issues with that stuff. So I don't get that, but yeah, we got 7 people left in the chat. And yeah, thank you to Nathan over at NDT Movies, I'm sorry, the NDT show. Thank you. Oh, man. But yeah, thanks, Nathan, for stopping by and hanging out with us here. And thank you to everyone for, stopping by and hanging out. This was a late one here, but looks like we should be live again here on Friday. We'll figure out what Friday movie we're going to go with. So, yeah, thank you all very much for hanging out with me here tonight for Godzilla -1. Take care, be safe, and I'll see you all in the next one, everyone.
また悪い夢。ご両親。
空襲でやられたようです。
兄さんも私と同じね。
親子ともども縁あってこうして引き取ったんだから。
だから私は どんなことがあっても死んではいけない。
銀座を襲ったあいつ元島だ。ゴジラですよね。
あんなもん倒せるかありません。
東京がまた火の海になるのは見たくない。
戦争が終わってないんです。
今度の戦いは未来を生きるための戦いなんです。